Hello, everyone. Hello, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I hope everybody can hear me well. Hi, Alex. Hi, Karsten. Let's wait for. Hi, Bo. Some of the people reconnecting from LinkedIn, I think. Good. Everyone can hear me, can see me okay? Just confirm. Hello, Marcel. Good. Thank you, Elena. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to connect Sunday afternoon. It is an important update regarding some of the latest company announcements regarding Shape Robotics. I have received a lot of messages direct on LinkedIn or on WhatsApp asking for me to comment on the fact that we have submitted a criminal claim against Nasdaq and Kronemann Reumert. And now I have the opportunity to answer to all of you at once so that I can explain exactly the process behind these claims. And allow me just to share my screen to introduce exactly the company announcement that basically has triggered all these requests and all these questions that we have received. For those who are not familiar with it, I will just explain exactly what we have announced. Let me share my screen. 1 second. So you should see the screen now. So we submitted today 3 claims, 2 of criminal nature, 1 to be discussed whether it's criminal nature. The 2 claims that we have submitted, one is in relation to Nasdaq, and the other one is, of course, against Kronemann Reumert. They are based on the same article from the Danish Penal Code, Article 535. It is an article that exists in every European country and follows the same rules because it's aligned to European requirements. And this article exists in, of course, every other country that has a rule of law, and is related to the non-compliance with final court decision. I have to explain it in simple wording, and of course then I will allow my followers to ask the questions to clarify what is the situation. So what we are asking the authorities to look exactly into the non-actions of both Nasdaq and Kronemann Reumert in the last 10 days since the bankruptcy was declared illegal and annulled. And that means that for the last 10 days they failed to comply to the order of the High Court of Denmark, which is in this case the ruling body, and it's a definitive solution. The High Court order, just for everybody to understand, on the 5th of March, Oosterlandstret, which is the High Court, of course, sitting at the panel of 3 judges, unanimously annulled the bankruptcy decree of 6th of January in the case file 337-25-25-F. The annulment was grounded on the grounds that the original bankruptcy petition has not been lawfully served upon to the company or its management. This is again a court order. It's sent to retrial. It is enforceable. It's not a recommendation. It's subject to interpretation by market operator. Everybody has to understand that Nasdaq, Kronemann, and all these other entities that might have anything to do with the situation, except Finanztilsynet, are private operators. And for that reason, we are in the situation that we are today, in which a private operator fails to comply with the decision of the High Court. And Basically, Nasdaq has issued an announcement on the 13th of March, Friday, stating that they are keeping the company suspended due to pending bankruptcy petitions. This is a very misleading information because Nasdaq, as you can all remember, has never published any information regarding the High Court ruling. This is extremely dangerous in this situation because, of course, Nasdaq has published the last announcement that was published through Nasdaq by Kronemann Reumert was related to the suspension of trading based on the bankruptcy of Shape Robotics. As the bankruptcy has been annulled, the effects are immediate. And to make a simple comparison, for instance, let's say that our company was sent to jail and the High Court decided to annul this decision, and now our company is free, but we still have our cuffs on our hands. So this is very simple. We don't need to go into deeper explanations. Hello, Daniel. Into deeper explanations in the whole context. It is a very simple ruling. It says to annul the bankruptcy and send to retrial. That means a complete destruction of the initial decision. It's basically a restitutio ab initio. It's a very simple legal term, and it applies to everything that is happening now. So both Nasdaq and Kronemann Reumert refuse to comply with the decisions of the High Court. So that's very simple. Hello, Alexander. It's a simple, let's say, petition in every country where there is a rule of law. Alexandru Ambrosi is one of the most esteemed lawyers in, I think, Southeastern Europe and maybe Central Eastern Europe in matters related to white-collar crimes and, of course, financial institutions and publicly traded institution. He's just joining. I don't have too many things to add. I have received a list of questions from Bo and from Alex on private and others. I don't know if they joined already. And most of those questions I would like them to address it here, especially Alex had a bunch of them, so that we are very clear into the next steps that we should all undertake as shareholders in this situation, not necessarily stakeholders or interested parties. So right now we have criminal claim for 2 private companies and a market abuse claim for Kronemann Reumert. The market abuse claim that we have explained in the company announcement is related to the total darkness in which the shareholders were kept in the last 59 days of bankruptcy that was completely annulled. Okay? What is very important to understand in the whole context is that Kronemann Reumert was aware of the appeal and all the interventions that we have done in the appeal process, which makes it even worse than normally. Company being suspended from trading doesn't mean that it's suspended from its obligation towards its shareholders. Therefore, in the 59 days you were kept in the dark, and this darkness is too much for everybody to bear. We have to see some governmental institutions stepping in, as right now we are in the situation that we cannot handle this by discussing with the parties involved. So Kronemann Reumert had the obligation as a MAR lawyer company, so it's one of the biggest advisors in MAR in Denmark, knew exactly that they had the obligation to inform every one of you about the situation of the company. I'm not going into details what they have done in those 59 days. Of course, we will receive the documents either by themselves, they will give it to us, or the police will take it from them. But we will know for sure what they have done in those 59 days. But what we also know is that they didn't publish any of their, let's say, activities. Good. Let's start answering to some of the questions. I think you're exaggerating with the Nasdaq complaint. Yes, it is frustrating that they do not let the stock to be traded, but I think that they just make sure investors don't get hurt, as in buying the stock, then begin again untradeable because of the next current bankruptcy case. And it hurts the company's reputation if it does anything at all. You mean the company's reputation, Nasdaq's reputation? Or what do you mean, Marcel? While you answer to that, I will try to answer to the first question. No, we are not exaggerating at all. This is not about exaggerating. This is about the rule of law. It's a very simple case. They had to comply to the decision of the court, which is definitive. And in the last 10 days, they failed to comply to that decision. I'm not saying that the company should be or not be suspended because of the crazy situation in which the company is. Most likely, I would agree with that point. But for the sake of following the process in a diligent way, the rule of law is clear. The company should have been reverted to exactly the status that it had on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange on the 5th of January when the bankruptcy was declared. And that was a tradable company under, let's say, observation. Okay? That's what we're saying. So let's see in the meantime what other questions should come. Alex, are you still there? I'm not pushy, Marcel. It's very. I'm very serious. I answered extremely serious. We are complicated things too much. So that means that we should not look as shareholders at this situation through our own filter of interpretation on the legislation and the law. A decision of the High Court is a decision of the High Court. We cannot comment decision of the Court of Law. If they decided to reverse the bankruptcy, no matter what was the case, no matter what are the results of the retrial, in this period, the company should be reinstated at exactly the same status as it was prior to the decree on the 5th of January. We are wasting a lot of time and energy in general trying to interpret things. And yes, indeed, it is very clear that all the parties involved on the other side of the court in here, Nasdaq, Kronman, etc., are just waiting for the company to fall back into bankruptcy just to make it go away. But this doesn't work like that with make it go away. They have to act on the decisions of the High Court, and Nasdaq's role is not to consider that by having a bankruptcy petition under retrial, this is grounds to suspend the trading of the company. They can do that, but of course they can do it in a separate suspension that has to be explained thoroughly, not in the same suspension that still follows us from the day of the bankruptcy. That's the one that we all consider that it should be annulled. Effective immediately, that means 10 days ago. Yes. Bo, I think you wrote on the WhatsApp, not on the chat here. So I don't know if I should answer to everybody. Okay, so what other questions? I think that we have a bunch of questions also on other forums. Let me, in the meantime, while you gather your thoughts, I will try to answer also these questions. Alex is yes, we are on to a big thing, not on to something. What if the mistrial goes in Shape Robotics' favor and the stock is traded again? How can the company continue operation and thus pay creditors forward? Alex, the company is dead. We cannot revive the company. Right now, we are doing the autopsy. And if the mistrial goes in Shape Robotics' favor, I think it's less relevant right now at this moment. I think that so many aspects that we need to take in consideration. First of all, we need to do the autopsy of the company, and for that reason, we need to obtain the documents in the last 59 days. The company was operational before the bankruptcy. The company had a pipeline. The company had an investor in Iris Capital, and in 59 days, it doesn't have anything because of the wrong bankruptcy ruling. And for that reason, I think that right now our main goal is to understand what really happened. Just to remind you, the trustee has cancelled an EGM while knowing that there is an appeal ongoing, thus blocking our operations with Iris Capital totally. So right now you can imagine that, for instance, if we had an EGM voted, we had a board, we had proper operational support, it wouldn't be me alone speaking to you. It would have been a structure that could immediately tap into the financing of Iris. The company won't resume operations. The company doesn't exist. I'm the only employee left. No, Iris is committed. I was just saying, Iris is blacked out. 2 days ago, you were telling us Iris is committed. That's crazy. No, Iris is there. Iris is still committed. I was saying regarding the fact that Iris was committed in December already. So if we had a EGM, we didn't need to re-establish a new contract with Iris letter of intention in the last weeks. I'm just saying that the company that you know with multiple subsidiaries and everything that was before is dead. There is no possibility now to restart it like that. We need to hire people, we need to put it in perspective to understand what is left, so it's a long process. Is there any new bankruptcy petition planned by the Maritime and Commercial Court? We are not aware of any bankruptcy petition. Is committed to what, since you said that the company won't resume operations? I was saying that Iris is committed to support the company as it was in December, knowing that the situation that we might find at the moment that we negotiated is the same as in December. But how it looks right now after 10 days of fighting against the mountains, there's nothing left. Maybe I will have a surprise and find that there are many things left when we receive the papers, but at this moment we are not aware of having anything left to do. So yes, Iris for now is still committed to the investor. Marcel, things don't work like that. We are just creating the necessary structure, and we are not trying to explain situations that we are not aware of. Our gut feeling at this moment, but not having, let's say, a clear image of what happened in the last 59 days, we will say things that are conflicting one to each other, because this is how the situation is. The Iris decision is something that we have done, okay, me and my advisors and everybody that is supporting me as the sole person still in the company, have created the necessary setup and the necessary conditions for the company to continue operational, but to still have an operation by the time we receive the papers, till the moment we receive the papers, we don't know. I presume right now from the information we have preliminary from the subsidiaries that there is no subsidiary left. And as you all know, the Shape Robotics operated through subsidiaries, and the current stage, based on information that we have received, there is no more activity in the subsidiaries. So it's not conflicting. There are not things conflicting. The situation is conflicting. And we're trying to get to the bottom of it. That's why we're trying to simplify things as much as possible. As much as possible. Because there is a tendency here to consider that the company, and this is the most dangerous tendency that we have seen in the Danish media with the Danish private companies, is to consider that the company anyway is bankrupt, so we have no reason for accepting that the High Court made a ruling in their favor. So let's buy time. Maybe there is a new petition coming. We fight for the stock to be traded again, but if the operations will not continue, why fight for the stock to be traded again? The question is very good, Alex, but we are not fighting for the stock to be traded again in that sense. We are fighting for the rights that we have. We do not fight for the stock as a goal. We are fighting for the rights that are breached in front of us. So let's not discuss what will be after we resume trading on how it will be. What I can tell you right now that this company has transformed from a robotics company into a litigation machine. At this moment, the biggest asset of this company is the hundreds of lawsuits that it will start in the next weeks against everybody that has done a ton of wrongdoing against us. And I guarantee that together with my team of lawyers, legal support, everybody will fight for the last penny of every investor and every creditor that has any money to get from Shape. So that's the reason why we fight for showing the irregularities and the situation in the market. We are fighting against the abuse, not for a certain purpose that has any connection with the return to the former business. I'm not fighting for rights. I just said, Marcel, that you're fighting for the stock. The stock has a value and they should be able to trade it. And that's the idea. But the stock will not be the same stock that it was before. The value of the company is defined by the value of the claims that it will receive from those that just created this disaster. And I don't think, Marcel, is the job of the NGOs to fight for your rights, because this is not a general thing. This is your right. We are not trying to change the global warming or the, I don't know, repopulation of a certain forest. What are progressions questions? I'm not... Can you answer progressions questions? Maybe you can copy them here and show me. Who writes this? This message was just on NASDAQ. I can confirm that Sanaco has been the victim of a theft of 4.5 million from the company's fund, orchestrated by the company. Who says this, Bokos? I'm not aware of this. Can you tell me? It's on Nordnet, not NASDAQ, you say. Let me check also to read the whole... to read the whole statement, just for me to understand. Wait a second. But I think this is something that is related to an article that was on NASDAQ maybe 1 month ago. Or at least this is what I remember from finance asking me at a certain moment. I don't know who's Perti Ili Kraka. I have no idea what is going on in Sanaco, and that's the reason why we should receive as fast as possible the documentation from the trustee, because I think this is related to the bankruptcy of Sanaco, which of course we are not aware of at all, not us and not us as management and not the market at all. So nobody from the shareholders was informed about the fact that one of the most prized assets of Shape Robotics went under bankruptcy. So it's very difficult for me to answer without having any documents, but I would presume that is part of the mumbo jumbo that everybody is trying to throw at us, and it's less relevant right now on what Pertti Ilkira says. It's more relevant on what the High Court said. High Court is the state. Pertti, I believe it's a lawyer or something. What kind of stupid question is this, Marcel? Have you stolen 4 million euros from Sanaco? No, of course not. Yeah, I see press reader, Denmark, Ulint, Boston, robot companies borrow 30 million. Now there is the trustee in bankruptcy after the trustee Pertti Irkala is the trustee of Shape Robotics, accuses the management of orchestrating 1 million theft, not 4 million. I don't need to have a proof, Marcel. They have to have a proof. They have the burden of proof themselves. They accuse us, not us. I don't know what's the press reader, this one. Yeah. This is part of the campaign of the media without, of course, throwing information without showing any proof. The difference between us and them is that we always show proof, and we always present every piece of document online and in the company announcement. So I can say also that Pertti Irkala is has stolen himself 4 million euros. I have it under my good judgment. It's absolutely irrelevant. If they cannot prove it, it's just hearsay. How come a subsidiary is being stolen by the mother company? It's quite weird to even have a discussion on that. And my opinion is that let's not focus on what it was before the bankruptcy ruling. Let's focus on what we don't know. That means what happened in the last 59 days of the trustee plus the 10 days we came back. We kind of know what happened, and everything was transparently shown to every person following us. You are the one question here. They are lawyers and they are sworn in. If you were not, I try to understand your position, but you have to understand that you're the one who has to provide proof that you complied. That's what I think. If we have any legal expert in the chat, I think now is the moment to step in. If not, I will try to answer to your question, Marcel, at the end of this. Any news on the documents from the trustee? No, absolutely no. That's why we filed criminal charge on them for not complying to the court's orders. I think that, first of all, a lawyer is not sworn in, and I don't believe we are talking about a lawyer here. And the way they talk, it's with prejudice or without prejudice, and every if it's a lawyer, and without having any sort of material proof presented, it's just hearsay. I have never heard in a country that is run by the rule of law this kind of speculations thrown left and right just to cover their incompetence. It's very simple. We have a decision of the High Court. We have to see the papers. After we see the papers, then we can answer to everybody. What I can guarantee you is that you can take your own decision based on the papers that we will make publish. It's like the Epstein files. We will make publish, but the difference is that we will publish every piece of paper we receive in full, like you see. Finland is run by the rule of law. Yes, exactly. That's what I was saying, that any country where you have the rule of law, you should wait for the authorities to express themselves. Pertti Irkala is not an authority here. I don't know who he is here, actually, without seeing the paper. I would say in some situations, Marcel, Romania is probably functioning a little bit better than what we have seen in the last 10 days in relation to the behavior of Nasdaq and the rest. Yes, the Marcel. Yes, so the lawyer would not throw accusation without anything solid. Why do you have an I don't know, a friend that is you are a lawyer yourself, or why are you protecting this trade like it's immune to lying and manipulation? Let's see. Any other questions? So I would say that you should not focus on the noise. Right now it's not relevant uh, anything about AE4, whatever was before. And this is something that, again, what we said is that we were not bankrupt. It's true. We were illegally declared bankrupt. It is true. It is confirmed by the High Court. From this moment, 6th of January till now, we have to understand what happened. And every financial institution, you can imagine that today we don't even have a bank account. In 10 days, Danske didn't give us access back to the bank account. So everybody's trying to delay. Hopefully there were going to be another bankruptcy claim and they're going to make it go away. But this doesn't change the situation. Was the Romanian subsidiary liquidated also? If so, why no Romanian liquidator said anything and others said there is fraud? These questions are not related, Marcela, I'm sorry. The Romanian subsidiary, there are two Romanian subsidiary. One is in bankruptcy proceedings. The other is pending bankruptcy. They're not yet liquidated. And in Romania, it doesn't happen fast forward. Romania is a rule of law, so it takes years to liquidate, and you have to vote first. You don't just leave it in front of named trustee to do all the things. So this will not go overnight and will not happen so fast. And of course, the Romanian trustee will say things when the time comes. So, and nobody in Romania will guarantee you that will say things like that, fraud or whatever, without proper ruling from a judge. I have never heard this kind of behavior in insolvency or bankruptcy case in Romania. So there is a procedure which is called atragerea răspunderii for the Romanian. So basically claiming against the management. But this procedure first has to establish why the company went bankrupt or insolvent, who's to blame, and then, of course, they go in front of a judge, and it takes. Romania is not a role model in law proceedings, but Romanian ways have proven that they can win in the High Court in Denmark. Therefore, I would believe that because we have in Romania a very poor justice system, we are much better prepared to fight asymmetric battles like this one. So I would say that a little bit of Romanian knowledge and the way to handle a court file in Romania is very useful also in Denmark. We are talking about European countries. Then, Marcel, you can believe everything you want. The idea is that we have to show proof. So hearsay is hearsay. And if you look better, the hearsay from Progression, the article is from 1 month ago. So in that month, nobody was able to produce any proof that we are to be blamed of any kind of wrongdoing. So this is no news. It was in finance, it was everywhere, and I also commented on that. It's just this Progression, or Luis, how his name is in our chat, that is obsessed with proving that we are wrong when unfortunately we are proving that we are right. Unfortunately for him or for her. If you are sure he's attacking, who? Who is attacking? I don't understand the question, Marcel. Can you please repeat it? Let's see if anybody else has questions. If you mean that the trustee from Finland, it's not a problem, Marcel. You can leave, you can do whatever you want, but you basically don't want to hear the response that I give you. Just want to hear a response that you feel it makes you feel good. In the last, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, this world just wants to hear things that make themselves, or people in this world just want to hear things that make themselves feel better than to hear things that work and they are correct and they have been working for 25 years or 50 years or 100 years. So Alex Wunlund, so these charges against Nasdaq, what's the purpose of this? Maintain the suspension for 10 plus days despite the annulment on the 5th of March remains suspended as of today. More than 4. You mean that you're reading from our claims, Alex? Or you want me to explain the charges? Exactly the charges of the... So the charges of this article in the Danish criminal code. Am I still live? Can you see me? Somebody says that I'm not live anymore. I don't know. I can see the image here. So hopefully... Okay, so I'm still live. Yeah, so the idea is that is like this. I'm going to be very... I'm trying to do it very simple. The decision of the High Court was clear. There is an annulment of the bankruptcy claim with a retrial. At this moment, the bankruptcy claim is under retrial or not. We will find out in due time. We cannot say something that it was not properly served, and this is the decision of the High Court in this situation. So what we are looking at is very simple thing. When the court decided to annul the bankruptcy, it's a restitutio ab initio. That is a term that says that everything has to be reestablished like it was, every aspect of the company. And the question is very good, Alex, because you cannot delete 59 days of activity of a CEO in this sense, which was the trustee, was a CEO and a board in one person. So he could do anything he wanted. So all the decisions that he took, or the lack of decisions, therefore, have produced effects that we have to go and annul them. So, for instance, if a company like Sanako Finland went into bankruptcy under the stewardship of the trustee, we have to go to court in Finland and cancel all its decisions, including the decision to go into bankruptcy. This is the way we have to do the restitutio. What is the most complex thing here is to try to rebuild for that those 59 days. That's why I'm saying that the company from that point of view does not exist anymore, because it's impossible to rebuild things like that. It's like, imagine somebody sold your house, the customer that bought it already destroyed it or set it afire, and they're building a flat there. And 59 days later, you are getting the right, you are annulling the contract that the house was sold by, and you want your house back. The house was already destroyed. So what you do is you claim against the damages. So, Alex, we are fighting for the right we have to have the share tradable. This is the right of every shareholder. If Nasdaq is not opening the trade based on the decision of the High Court and communicates it properly, they are committing a crime. It's very simple. They are not respecting the decisions of the High Court. And we should not focus ourselves what happens after. Every time we discuss, we find things that might not be okay, and there is a reason why things are not happening in such a way, and we find interpretation. We cannot find interpretation from a decision of the High Court that is definitive. So Nasdaq has to comply to their decision, has to take in consideration the restitutio, and then after that, they do whatever they want. They still have the possibility to keep the share blocked, to put it under suspension, to do whatever they want, but not based on the bankruptcy ruling from the 6th of January, beg your pardon, in January. So at this moment, legally, our trades have been suspended from the day of the bankruptcy and have never been reestablished from that point according to the rule of the High Court. So to give you a very simple parallel explanation again, Nasdaq has no problem to keep the trading suspended, but they have to do that after they reopen the trading, and then they can close it back again in the same minute and say that we are closing it back because, I don't know, there is not enough information about the financials of the company, or there are more problems in the last 59 days. There are a ton of market abuse issues by not communicating to the market, or any other reason. But right now, the reason that we have the share blocked is because they do not implement the decision of the High Court. Yes, exactly, Bo. This is what they should have done in the first day. Take in consideration the decision of the High Court, and then take another decision of suspension, extremely well documented. Because right now, we are basically suspended because of the bankruptcy. And they are not resuming trading because, yeah, there was a bankruptcy and there still is a petition on the bankruptcy. It's absurd. It's misleading. The obligations of Nasdaq were simple, and we have communicated to them those obligations in numerous emails. They should have informed the market that the bankruptcy petition is annulled. The bankruptcy is annulled. They should have restored the trading effective immediately, and in the same time, they could have found reasons not to continue the trade, if that's the decision they want to have, to keep us blocked. But to give you an example here, Bo, you cannot randomly block the trading of a company without giving solutions to continue the trade. So usually when you do that, you just say you have to repair XYZ, you have to update your financials, you have to find, I don't know, a board, you have to do something, you know? No, they just randomly continue to keep us blocked because of a decision that was annulled. It's absurd. We cannot do anything. It's not normal. They are a private institution. They are not the government. So that's why we asked for the intervention of the government, just to enforce the decision of the High Court. You don't need to go that far in analyzing the fundamentals behind the logic of Nasdaq. Here it's not about logic, it's not about how we feel and what makes us feel good and what is the best scenario for ourselves. It's about respecting the decision of a court. It's that simple. It's not hearsay. It's not somebody from, I don't know, Finland said about anything. We have the only truth today is that we have a decision from the High Court, and I will repeat it till everybody dreams it like I do, high court, that is the highest available decision for such cases, that is definitive, and it's in our favor. That's it. And those that, hello Cosmin, and those that keep us in the dark, they're just basically committing a crime against the decision of the High Court. I hope I made myself understood in a very, very simple matter. But it's not relevant. If Nasdaq will do what I say and suspend it again, what will be the next step? Shares are still suspended, so Iris is not possible. It changes a lot the whole scenario. If Nasdaq did as we say, first of all, they will admit to commit a crime. Okay? And they will have to pay a fine, and they will have to pay a lot of, I don't know, claims that we will pass on to them. Okay? So again, this is a win. If they suspend us again, then Kroman has to pay a fine, because Kroman is the one that is in charge after the event of the 5th of January. So however you want it, right now, by not respecting the decision of the court in the last 10 days, Nasdaq has basically blocked every avenue in which they can recover this in a nice and normal way as it should have been. So in my opinion, no solution Nasdaq will give will satisfy the needs of the shareholders. And that's why we expect that the governmental intervention will be the one that clarifies everything. Why can't you open a new bank account and let Iris finance a small bridge to resume operations? It's difficult to do that at this moment, because basically I cannot even open a bank account in Denmark. I don't have any. I don't even have a balance sheet closed. I don't have papers. Hi Mark, and good evening all. Hi. I find it. We have a Revolut account, but it doesn't work like that, because we have to be able to sell shares to Iris. Iris is buying shares from us, and without being traded, I cannot sell them shares. For Iris, yes, we have to be a publicly traded company. Yes. An actively publicly traded company. I find it very amusing if I'm looking at Nasdaq at Nordnet. Now when we show one of the most direct and correct positions that we could get in the last 10 days, suddenly it becomes extremely relevant, an article from the 13th of February that says something about Pertti Ilkara. It's like, what's the reason to discuss those things? Instead of focusing, you know, the difference is that some people have shares, like the ones that speak here most likely, and some people just want to have fun. I don't know. I'm curious if Nasdaq or the lawyer firm will give an answer tomorrow. I cannot speculate on this. I don't know. It's yeah. Let's look at a ton of comments that in the meantime are falling on parallel sources. The company, the Marcel, can you share the complaints you filed today? They are on the public. They are on the company announcement. I can share the company announcement, and of course, you can download it from there. Here it is. It's on the in the right documents and links. Let's read some of the comments from Nasdaq. From Nordnet. Okay. Oh my God, it's Luis is everywhere. Do you consider that you as a shareholder have suffered the loss by the fact that Mark and the board of directors have kept AFOs? Come on, this is nonsense. We are discussing about AFO. It will be up to the right to decide who will be fired for my possible. The auditor, the board, and the management have all acted remarkably. I read it will be special to sue the judiciary interpreted as a trial, and therefore I would like to see or hear how they will recalculate the loss. It's those people don't understand exactly how this functions, and unfortunately they are just trying to find only negative when things could be also seen the other way around. A company under bankruptcy should of course not hold an EGM for shareholders. This is absolutely stupid. Who gave you the idea that we should not hold an EGM during bankruptcy? The bankruptcy was appealed. Yeah. Imagine if the district court will soon respond with a new bankruptcy, then Bo has spent half of Sunday writing a large irrelevant post. Yeah, maybe Bo has written a large irrelevant post, but the difference is that Bo is here asking questions and others are talking from the couch, and it's not even worth wasting our time there. Right now, the ball is in the court of the police and the Finance Tilsynet, the FSA, to validate our claims. Alex, what happened financially since Q2 2025 when the charge jumped significantly due to increased revenue and income? There were no worries, everything seemed fine. I have explained it many times what happened, Alex. It is a result of the bad reputation that Shape received on the public market due to the pump and dump. We were not able to continue financing our projects at a good rate and through the financial instruments that we should have available on our arsenal, meaning that we have voted at the beginning of year 25 a convertible loan. And unfortunately, in end of Q2 25, it was clear for us that the board refuses all the points that were necessary to correct the situation that occurred 1 year before, meaning the situation with Carnegie and Lars Stockholm, and we were refused by several large investors to jump in with convertible loan support. And the conclusion was that we need to file a claim effective immediately in order to have any sort of chance to receive the financing that we need, and it was budgeted in January 25 for the whole year 25. So we were missing 28 million out of our budget for the project in Poland. And that's the reason that this financing was basically unavailable till the moment we were able to do capital, increase our capital and raise money on the stock exchange. So everything was not fine. Yeah. can't we, the shareholders, do a crowdfunding round so you can resume operations? We are 4K. If we spend half 500 euros each, you have 2 million euros. I'm not sure. I appreciate, but I don't think we can do that as a publicly traded company. It's rather impossible. So I think right now that our main goal is to try to get access to the 59 days. So this is basically right now the CEO of the company is still Teis Gurlovits, or what's his name. So although de jure I'm the CEO, de facto I have no documents, nothing to run this company, so I don't know what kind of money I should need for operations. See how I really don't understand what would be the interest of people to still read the finance and all this paper basket gazettes. It's very important to take your information from the documents. Everything that I've read in the last, let's say, 20 articles written about me, that was not written about me, so let's not make it about me, was also not factual. So for instance, even I think on Friday they wrote something that the High Court didn't decide the annulment, they decide to retrial, and so that it's an interpretation. No, just put the High Court decision and let's see where we are. If you want my proper advice in this situation, Bo, I would say that the most important aspect for you guys is to make an EGM. I would recommend that 5% of the shares are necessary to make an EGM, and I would recommend an EGM. And through that EGM, should you wish to participate into helping the company, of course, you can do that by raising capital. So you don't need a crowdfunding, actually, Marcel. You can do an EGM, and you can vote in the EGM that you want to issue some shares, and you can buy it. Can you do a live from somebody from finance? Yeah, they refuse, of course. What is your assessment that Mark would, he's asking you progression again, Bo, what is your assessment that Mark would now like to make the agreement between Shape Robotics and Danske Bank not in effect when Mark itself confirms the agreement on the 2nd of December by issuing a press release on the main principles of the agreement? Mark contradicts himself because it fits with the story Mark would like to tell today. Okay, I will answer this because I think it's very important, again, not to discuss about law on how we feel about law. But let me finish in the same time explaining to Marcel, it doesn't matter if the shares are tradable or not, you can still buy them. It's that you cannot sell them or trade them, you can buy them over the counter. A journalist, okay, let's I answer to that. So regarding the contract between Danske Bank and Shape Robotics, it's very important to understand that we are not in the common law sense of the contractual agreements. This is business to business contracts. These do not follow gentleman agreements or confirmation by word or whatever. What happened is that I was led to believe that the contract is real and that the contract has been signed in proper order by everyone. So I confirmed that at that stage I was basically in the, like everybody else, believing in what Kroman Reumert has put in that contract. I was not aware that Kroman Reumert was already a curator of Shape Robotics with more than a month before the bankruptcy was declared. So at this moment, I have brought in front of you very clear proof yesterday that that contract is void and nil, and that, of course, that contract is fraudulent. So there is no discussion here that we have said something about it on the 2nd of December. Yeah, that was what we thought at that moment, and this doesn't work like that. It's a confirmation. No, it's not a confirmation. It's a confirmation that we were led to believe that the contract is signed, which we have proven it was not. I think it's very important that when it comes to the rule of law, to read, you have access to a lot of digital tools right now that could help people understand the complaints that we have written and give you an explanation on who is entitled to receive the balance of justice, to bend the balance of justice in their favor in this situation. So I would really recommend that you try, if you don't understand, to use GPT or any other tool available to explain these petitions, as they are not so complicated. In the end, there are simple things. It's just the arrogance of the system and the fact that we are considered too small to put up a fight. And yeah, this is where we are. It is really annoying that things move really slowly with this institution. I would say that it's not that annoying that things move slowly. It's more annoying that they move in the illegal direction. Because I would not say that they are not moving. They just moved on Friday. They just posted, the Nasdaq, for instance, just posted a very misleading information on the website. So if there are no other questions, it's already 1 hour. I would say that for Sunday it's more than enough. Let's see what will happen tomorrow. I don't want to guess or to, I don't know, bring some sort of prognostic towards the forecast, towards the conclusion. But let's hope that we can do something about it. Yeah, I know, Bo, you have done this Discord. Appreciate the support. I will try, because I mean it's very asymmetrical here, the situation. So honestly, without having support of the authorities, it is rather difficult because the market in Denmark is very small and they all covered each other. So yeah, I don't believe that without the support of the authorities stepping in, like the High Court did, we might have any positive results. What we can also do is exactly what Marcel said, or Bo. I think it's important as shareholders to fight for your right to access your shares, but don't try to do that fight out of an interest to bring back the company where it was, because that's rather far-fetched right now to think about that. It's very important that the company has access to its shares first, and then we see what we do. So the plan is steps, baby steps, because if we fight all the battles at once and try to see what happened, I don't know, with the financials then and then, I would say that it's impossible. What I would recommend is to I don't know if you should file complaints against Nasdaq too. I would say that for sure there are some. You should show interest in the matter. The idea is that there should be on the website of Nasdaq. Maybe you can find it, Marcel, whatever you can do on that direction. I think is good. Try to look if there is any kind of official complaint on their website, and maybe just reference the case. I don't know if it will help, but for sure it will show interest in the matter. Because the only, let's say, excuse of Nasdaq not moving fast or slow or not taking a decision is that there is no interest. Because it's exactly like I think Alex said, the company is anyway dead, so we should not. This is not okay to reply in that way. It's not normal. You are just executing somebody because they didn't choose to die in the first execution that was botched. So it's this is absurd. We are living in a. I wrote to Nasdaq and they just reply with the feedback that Mark has already said. Yeah, they replied with what they sent Friday, but there's something that they will keep the trading till there is a bankruptcy, whatever. Yeah, that's why I said that this announcement is misleading, because I have not. Maybe somebody else has seen it, but myself, no. There was no announcement with clear information on the decision of the High Court. So not informing is a form of misinformation here. How is this possible, Marcel? What do you mean? What is this? That they are not. There is a. They're afraid. To be honest with you, I think this is the best conclusion that we should have in this direction. That they are afraid. They are afraid to make mistakes because nobody has been in this situation before in Denmark. So they do not know what to do. But not to respect the decision of the High Court, it's a disaster, because in the end, they are a private company. They can always say this was the decision of the High Court and let the market do its job, because the markets are always correcting themselves. They're always right. And the fact that they have this kind of obligation that always thrown in our face, that the market should behave in a regulated manner, that has nothing to do with this situation. In this situation, that can place you under observation and keep you in a very tight loop. So when you see some very big spikes, ups and downs for 40 or 50%, that they can pull the plug. But imagine that during the pump and dump scenario, there were days where we had 2 or 3 times the fuse blown in Nasdaq, and nobody has made any sort of irregular trading pattern claim from their side. So I'm just, pointing some ideas here. What I can say is very simple. We have a ruling, and this is the only thing that should matter. Because in my opinion, the last 10 days, we were locked out of our shares without any explanation or any legal explanation, against the decision of the High Court again. That's basically it. Good. If there are no other questions, let's hope that tomorrow will be a day that some good news will come our way. We have done our job. We have worked 24/7 in the last week, including weekdays. So hopefully tomorrow we'll see some results. I don't expect things to change drastically, but at least the narrative should fall in our direction. I would suggest also contacting the media and trying to tell your story as shareholders. And let's get our company back in the end, and then we'll see what we do. I appreciate your time and support, and like I said, try to think about an EGM. I don't have the tools right now to summon an EGM myself, okay? But I think that the shareholders can do that without any problem. Just establish a venue and then try to do the EGM to reinforce the things that we're doing now. And for the moment, I have nothing to add. We have done the best as we could in this direction, and we have to see some results. So we will keep monitoring every day what the trustee is doing. We will try to make them release our funds. Of course, they are withheld without any sort of proper authorization. And yeah, let's take it from there. Have a very, very good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Sorry, just read 2 things. Is Aurel still on board? Aurel has not confirmed or informed if he's on board. I would presume that he doesn't want to be part of this scenario, unfortunately. Being such a small world, most probably they started to act in a very well organized plan, but they weren't prepared for X scenario with the actual court decision. Yeah, Daniel, I think it's a very clear conclusion. We all feel it, so they just want for the days to come and not do anything. Hopefully, there is a new bankruptcy and then they just escape. I don't think the justice system should work like that. These are separate intervals of time when we have our rights and our obligations. And even if there is a new bankruptcy coming, they should not rule in the favor of that bankruptcy. I would say this is the idea. Yeah. Have a very, very good evening again. Ciao. Bye bye.